after these meetings, I have a meeting with a communications expert in Argentina. Doesn't matter where they are, right? Like now it's all remote, and see if somebody like having a coordinator that understands the technology and maybe they can help us for both organizations, you know. So I liked the last meeting that we had, that we see some bottlenecks, some of them we share. And I didn't have time to look at Indeed, but I wanted to see there's some in Denver, what kind of resumes you might find for an administrative coordinator. Right now, the stuff with FTW, I have like 3 or 4 businesses, and FTW is my 5th business. So I have a nonprofit, and then a couple of real estate ones, and then my language one, and FTW. So I was trying to centralize all of that into QuickBooks, and it's nice when you already have a team in place, and then they can take care of your different businesses type of thing, you know. So circling back to John, who will be the consultant. The reason I'm trying to avoid consultants, you know, I've hired a few, and sometimes it's just somebody to reassure you that what you already know, kind of thing, you know. And so I stopped using consultants for like 3 years. But this person, he is specialized in show business, in finding investors, helping a little bit with the pitch, communication skills, but communication skills related to the industry, because you and I, we know quite a bit about communication in terms of in terms of relationships, in terms of in an interview, in a job. I mean, we know about that, but I'm looking for somebody specifically in that. So when I asked him to prepare a budget and see where he can help in the promotion of FTW, the mini series, the podcast, he came up with the idea that he wanted to meet some of the collaborators or team members of FTW, because he got my version of it and what I want to do in the mission, but he wanted to meet some of the members. So I go, wow, I don't have like a staff. I don't have, but I work a lot with you, and then with Natalia, later maybe with Seth, you know, because he wants to get like the whole picture view. And so I'm just giving you a heads up that I don't even know what questions he's going to ask, but he may ask, why are you interested in this project? How does, whatever, I don't know. It'll be, that in itself is a nice experience to see. His approach is to, first, he didn't want to give me a budget. He didn't want to give me a quote. He just said, well, I want to get to understand more what you're doing, and not just from your perspective, but from people that are working with you. So I really like that. So that would be a good experience for us to see how he's doing it. And then I have to, the other thing that's happening with Erica, she sent me a proposal, and we're going to start with the pilot of the mini-series and have an outline for the pilot, have a script for the pilot, and have an outline, what she calls the Bible, I guess, Bible series or something. Have you heard that?
Like basically like her, why am I blanking? Like a shot list almost of like what the whole film is going to be.
Yes, that's what I assume. I just didn't understand why they call it the Bible, but
Yeah.
it's called the Industry Standard Script and Story Development, the Creative Research, the Complete Pilot Episode of 45 to 50 pages of the drama series. And it says here, series Bible outline of subsequent 5 to 7 episodes of untitled series for now. one-page pitch of the show, log line, story engine, episodes, outline, character breakdowns. So I'm excited about that because, you know, I got different things going on,
Well,
but
it's very exciting. And I mean, I love that they have a strategic, you know, like I said, I love their product. I mean, and I met Erica and I met Christy, and they're just so lovely. I mean, their energy is just great. And then I hired Erica to come and do a couple scene nights she shot for me, just so we would have that. And she was just so easy to work with, but I love their product. But like the way that I can tell that they're walking you through and the way that they do business, is good. I mean, that tells me, I mean, it really tells me why their product is so, like, why it looks so quality, because they're not just shooting darts. I mean, it sounds like they have a strategic way. Some filmmakers, especially young filmmakers, you'll find quickly they don't. Like, you go to Colorado Film School or something, and it could be a real shit show.
yeah.
I'm not saying anybody, there's some good people that come out of places like that too, of course, but you know, I mean, you just
No,
never
no,
know.
that's why I'm really impressed with them. It's not just their artistic abilities, you know, maybe they can be a great director, filmmaker, but then, like you're saying, a lot of them maybe don't have the professionalism on the proposals and presentations and things like that, and they are solid, you know. And there was a little bit of frustration with me saying I have this budget, you know, 100 to 150,000, and when they did the numbers and looked at the crews and the equipment and the days of filming and stuff, they went over like 220,000 plus later post-production and all this. So another lesson in learning in communication, like they assumed that I would be able to get, I did mention I would try to get investors, but I didn't necessarily, they didn't understand that this is my budget, 100 to 150,000, and I will try to get investors within this budget. They thought, well, if you're going to get investors, we can go higher, and then you cover up the, no. I don't want to be put in a situation where I'm desperate to get investors because I only have up to 150, and then I have to find investors for the, like when you're young and hungry, and like they did this what is it called, crowdfunding, and they received more than they requested. You know, they requested 50,000, they received I think 80 or maybe double of it.
Great.
But it took them a lot of work, like weekends and nights and stuff. And then the end, it's beautiful when you see all that work and sacrifice, and then you get more than you expected. You know, that's amazing, especially if you're starting out and starting their business and stuff. But I don't want to go through that. So I should have, you know, said, I'm not going to go through that. I am not going to not sleep at night and work weekends and stuff to get the extra 100,000. You know, that's
I wonder
how
what sorry, go ahead.
well, that's how, I mean, I've taken a lot of risks, you know, a lot of risks buying buildings when I didn't have the money and stuff. And these were $1 million stuff. So that was 10 years ago or something. And I look back and I go, God, that was crazy. Like, why did I think I could pay off these buildings and stuff? And I just went for it. But it was a lot of pressure, but it's true that we talked about pressure, right? Sometimes when you're under so much pressure, you just do more. You're like, if somebody's running with a gun, you run a lot faster and a lot longer when you have this danger behind you. So I guess there is a little bit of that when I want to be placed safe. Like, I'm not playing totally safe here. Okay, I'm willing to lose this amount. I've already put quite a bit of amount in all this, and even this meeting today, every time I'm in one of your classes or we're talking about this creative stuff, it's like, okay, I'm getting my money's worth. You know, I don't. We may not. I may not. Well, I don't. Okay. Well, anyway. So okay, going back to Erica, I'll keep you posted with that. But it's exciting, you know, and we're moving. I just need to keep moving. When I see there's a roadblock, I need to figure how to get through that and keep things moving. So I have the web marketing people who are opening the podcast, and that's supposed to happen this week. Oh, by the way, that's important for you to know. We did talk a little bit about clarifying our agreement. Once, I don't know, like how we can combine our efforts, like FTW hires you, but maybe eventually we have a partnership. And then you still promote your business and your website independently, like just you 100%. But if we have a podcast, we're gonna probably at some point we go live, and this session will be live, I think. And because we've done it already several times, I feel really comfortable with that. So the whole process was, you know, what if we tried a few and then the chemistry's not there, the flow of conversations, you know, it's just, I really like the recordings. I really like the subjects that we come up with. So just something to think about when the podcast is open. I think it's going to upload a lot of the videos that we already have and I've sent, and then we need to continue doing videos. But at some point we can go live, and we have to clarify what that means. Is it once a week? Is it twice a week? Or, you know, are you able to set certain times in the weeks? And so, and the nice thing about having two people, I really like, is that, let's say you have a personal situation, yourself, you get sick, or you want to go on vacation, or your daughter needs you, I can run the program and just say, you know, Lea can't be today, but we invite a guest, we talk about, I can talk because I'm feeling more comfortable doing it by myself. And the same with me. Like you know, I want to also, I like that type of flexibility where it's not just about me and you know, Joe Rogan or somebody that if he's not there, it's hard to replace him, kind of thing. In my case, I've always wanted people to replace me.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, I think it's going to be great. And I mean, anyway, they like I just in the class I was taking today, they were talking again about this same thing that we've been talking about how important it is to cross pollinate with other, you know, you go to a channel that is similar and you guys talk and you guys are a part of that, and then you're part of your own things so that you can cross promote. I'm learning, it's like nobody does it just by themselves with their own little channel. It doesn't work. You gotta have, because that's how the algorithm works. So I think the fact that we have two separate things and then we're coming together is always going to help us. And then it makes it even more special when one or the other person isn't there, because it's like, oh, interesting. It's like, it just mixes it up and it's kind of fun. So it's almost like somebody's at the house, and you're like, I don't know how to describe it, but you're like, parents are gone for the weekend, type feeling when the other person is there. And then it's like, oh, if I want to go visit them and I know they're alone, then I go over here. But if I go where I want to see Mariano and Lea together, maybe, or maybe one of them by themselves, but I know I'm going to get this type of content, I go to FTW. And so I think that's always going to work for us.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I like, basically, we're on the same page in terms of we can share some of the information we share, some of the video recordings we share, some stuff like the mini series. That's under FTW. That's not going to be part of you. You're not going to be involved with that. Maybe a little bit indirectly, or I don't know, maybe indirectly in some ways, like your coaching or just your feedback as a consultant, right? But you're not involved in the producing and all that stuff.
Right.
With this is what I would kind of put in the podcast, the entertainment, but also the educational side, where we are sharing material.
I just had an idea because we can't share like, okay. So like say you've got your TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, blah, blah. Whatever video you use for that, you can take little segments out for TikTok, which I'm just learning about because I know nothing about TikTok, but you can take little segments out for TikTok and Instagram of the same thing. Now, if FTW produces whatever it is, I would just share that on Lea Marlene. It would be your video on my thing. So that
Okay.
so it'd be totally different, or vice versa. But what I just thought of that could work really nicely with the hybrid part, this could actually be really cool. Because I was trying to think of like how, because there's a bunch of classes, and like I said, I've lost a bunch already just because the recordings have been gone, but whatever. Little snippets that I would like to start doing, but like say something happened in class, like say something happened in master class. This could be a cool way where we could use the same content. So I could say, I could put out the video of the snippet from class, but then you and I review that snippet or talk about what happened. So we're still using it, but we're making it a little different because it's like, why would I go here to get the same thing? Well, because now we're going to dissect it, or like maybe we bring Anastasia on or something and be like, in that moment, how did you feel? Or like, so then that's a way we could share content where it's different, but the same.
No, I really like that. It reminds me of one of the links you sent me about that husband wife, where they're reviewing other videos and they talk about the video and blah blah blah. And that's so easy to do. They're just using a video that has a lot of views, so it's already interesting for a lot of people. But then they talk about that video, so you're like piggybacking on the video. It's just making comments about it, and people go, "Oh wow!" Not only have their own idea of that video, but now they're hearing comments about that video from people that they connect with.
And then they're going to go back to that video anyway. I mean, I just saw a YouTube guy do that the other day. He reviewed a whole channel because somebody like requested it in his Patreon or whatever. They're like, because they can pay to be like, hey, review. And so he's throwing like video segments of this guy, and he's like kind of shit talking and stuff. But then I was like, this is genius, because then that other YouTuber commented and he's like, I don't know if I should be happy or honored or like go cry or whatever, but then we got to see their dialogue. So it only helps that guy. Like, even if it's negative, because then people are like, well, who's that guy? And then they want to, I mean, I was like, this is really smart. Like, so even if it's content, whether you like it or don't like it, so we could do that stuff with the hot topic. We could be like, look at what so-and-so did. How do you feel about this? Blah, blah.
Well, a lot of people did that with the controversy with Joe Rogan, and people were talking, and there's a lot of ideas, and we'll the main thing, yeah.
Did you see Bill Burr's thing on him? Do you know who Bill Burr is, the comedian? He's so crass. But he did his take on it. It was just so like, it was just funny, but so crass. Yeah, and everyone's got the Joe Rogan thumbnail of him and his big head.
Yeah, wow. That's
Anyway,
gonna happen. That's gonna happen to us at some point.
yeah.
Better be ready.
But that could be really cool because, like, say you're in a role playing thing, say we do a role playing thing. So I send out the video that's just of the snippet of the role play. And then on FTW, we show the video. We talk about how did you feel when you were doing that? We ask Anastasia or whoever was in the exercise with you.
Oh my gosh. There was so many, and we're kind of beginner. I mean, not total beginners, but we did some role playing that you directed and stuff, which I felt, in my case, it was very original, and it's somebody comes from my background, I go, what am I doing? I'm becoming a Buddhist, or I'm becoming a porn star, or I'm the jerk, the dick. So I think I don't see a lot of that, or the ones I see are very popular. There are scripts going on there, and people like that. If there was one, I think I sent you, about the mother and the daughter wears a really very short shorts. The mother, this is all in a script, like a 1 minute video. She says, "You're not going out like that." She goes, "Why not?" Blah, blah. So she goes out, the mother goes out and puts the same short shorts. Wait, and then the mother says, "Oh, can I go out like this?" And the daughter says, "Yeah, go ahead, go. That's no problem. That's fine." So, but then no, and then the father wears the same shorts, and she goes, "Oh my God, I gotta go to get changed."
That's so funny.
So, but there's that, but we'll bring it with some of these controversial stuff that sometimes Hollywood doesn't want to deal with, whether it's race, religion, ideology. A lot of Hollywood people don't want to get in the politics. They don't want to take sides. But if we do role playing of both sides, may the best person win type of thing, like a debate.
And that could actually be cool too, because like that could be a great gateway for us, like especially for FTW and for how I can work with FTW, because it's like my niche is definitely like from an acting perspective. What's so funny is that it helps people like you and people beyond. And so that's my entry point, but it's really not, it goes beyond acting. But like on FTW podcast, it'd be so fun to have just whatever, like you have your friend Gary on and we do a role playing where you guys reverse roles. It's like, okay, you don't even have to be an actor. Just, you're going to be, from your perspective, how you see Mariano. And you guys are going to do that conversation, but just fun stuff like that.
The funny thing about, I don't think he would do that, but he would be so good. He would be an amazing actor. He has like an amazing brain. Like he would memorize like a lot quicker than I would. He has like a photographic memory. He's so sharp. And then sometimes I've seen him act like a Southern Texan, not Southern, like a Texan, and then I go, wow, he's really good, but he's got this reputation.
That's true. Some people might be nervous to do that, but for the people that would want to participate, I think that would be a fun thing, like a segue, so that it's not just actors. It's like, no, you could work this, like
on this note. One of the reasons why I'm doing this, like I wouldn't have thought about doing this 2 years ago, is that people think, like people in business, which I've been in business 25 years, you have to be very careful about your reputation and your image. Like it takes years to build a reputation, and it could take hours or minutes to ruin that reputation. And then your business crash. well, even before, yeah, now it's even more harder, but before it was, yeah, so now online it's even more delicate. So why am I doing this? Well, because I don't care.
I love, I love that. I was like waiting for this big I don't really give a shit. That's fine. No, but there's so much freedom in that. It's like, because I know that you actually care at the heart, but it's like to let go of like, I don't care about, you know, that what everyone's going to think or what they're going to take it, because I know my intention is pure. Like we've talked about before with intention. It's like, it's not I don't care, like I'm going to go out and hurt people. It's like, I don't care because my intention is pure. So if, and it's to help, and it's from a place of like connection and service, and
Yeah,
if you
I'm
don't
so
like that,
happy.
then fine.
Yeah, no, I see it that because maybe that's why I don't, you're right. That's why I don't care. That's why I feel that I can take a risk because, yeah, some people might think it's ridiculous or, sometimes I have these discussions in Facebook because, I don't have anything else to do. So, and I get into these discussions, right, about religion and stuff. And I question, and then people get really upset with me. I don't know why, but and then they say, act your age, act your age, act your age, or
What does that mean?
it's, and so before I that would bug me, right? And then, or mature, and then I'd say, oh, okay. So here's where people relate maturity to acting a certain way, like the adult way, right? And it's tied to authority. It's tied to I think, well, it's tied to several things. But if you look at the intention, what you're saying, if you look at, well, I'm just trying to have a conversation. I'm trying to, in as the most respectful way I can. And sometimes I may cross the line, but I want to learn from that, is to question stuff, question our government, question the church, question authority, because a lot of people reach that point of authority and then they don't want to mess that up. They're already, oh, I'm already up here, so don't question anything. I get to be control and boss people around. And I could be in that position because I could be worried about, rock the boat, or taking away what I have, but it becomes so limited to, oh, I have the house, I have whatever, the business. Don't bring attention, don't question stuff because you're already up there, kind of thing. So for me, it doesn't work that way. For me, it's like life is a lot more interesting and exciting and challenging if you don't just lock yourself in that box. So all of this is a way to grow. All of this is, I really like what you said about intention, because if I was doing this, there are people very famous and successful, but their intention is to take one side and attack the other side.
Yep.
And
Well,
they're
and
making,
some people's intention is to be famous. And so then they'll do that at all costs. And it's like, what is the cost? The cost is attacking people. The cost is you can't be a loving person. The cost is, and some people are willing to pay that price, your health, and it's like relationships.
yeah,
But some people are willing to pay. I think that's what they mean when they say like sign the deal with the devil. It's like really you're signing the deal with that negative part of you that's like, this is the way it has to be done.
yeah.
And some people really believe that. And so then it's true. It's
And they
true.
focus on the money. They focus on the money, you know, who said that? Somebody said that one of Kim Kardashian, she doesn't smile
Mhm.
because she doesn't want to see wrinkles in her face when they're filming her and stuff. So I don't know if that's true. That's what I heard. And whether she does it or not, you know, don't sue me. But I feel like if it's true, then you're not being yourself. If you can't smile, can't be you,
Well,
then
I do think it's true just because those girls, and I actually always stick up for the Kardashians just because most people bash them. And I say, hey, they're smart business people. They've figured out how to be on TV for 15 years or whatever. It's like they're doing something right from a
it's,
business
it's
standpoint.
all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I look at it like that and I go, no, that wasn't just given to them. People are like, oh, they just were given. No, you don't stay on TV for 15 years without people watching you, whether you like it
Yeah.
or don't. They're doing something correctly.
Yeah.
But what I find interesting is that they've grown up on TV. That has to have a psychological thing because even, you know, when I look at myself, if you're on TV every single day, you're going to by nature go, I don't like it when I do that. I'm not going to do that anymore. And you're going to start eliminating things that you don't like. I mean, that's just normal. Like most people, you know what I mean, are going to do that. And I think they've done it to the nth degree because they're on TV like all the time. I mean, if you had a camera following you, I probably would change a lot of my habits that I don't like, you know,
Yeah.
just because you see it and you're like, that is unattractive. And
And
then,
people make comments. So if you see, oh, if it's one or two, it's not a big deal. But if you see like 100 people making the same comment, oh, your hair sucks, not you, but somebody, you know, like the length or the color or something, then oh, I better change the color because. But it happens even to regular people too, right? Like
yes,
all
I
the
mean,
time.
look at this world we live in. We're in a massive popularity contest. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's right to be that way and not be, you know, authentic, but I'm saying, I mean, I get it. It's
Yeah. So going back to, you know, we were talking about time management, kind of pausing and taking time to evaluate where you're investing your energy and your time, you know, if you're a business owner, and where your skills and talents can have the best returns type of thing, you know. So I think, you know, we'll talk about it outside or by email, but or not, you know, we can still record it. And I think that where you can really help is, let's say we agree, okay, maybe Thursdays, one day where we can dedicate 2 hours, like we said, and we start inviting some actors. And maybe we start with one or two actors, you know, just and then you start attracting others and we can rotate and we can have different, but we need kind of like a creative director. And maybe we align our ideas. And you know, I'm just thinking out loud right now, but I really want to do these scripts, you know, I really want to. I spoke to Natalia about it, and she didn't understand what I wanted. She go, I don't have time, but then we found out there's something that she was really excited about, like the part of she's already been reading a lot on Greek gods and sexuality and energy and the universe and stuff. So I go, well, once you have a writer that's really invested a lot of their time and they're passionate about something, and you can relate it. I wanted to relate it to again to the free thinkers of the world, to the FTW, in terms of questioning some of the dogmas, some of the things that we're supposed to accept as the truth, you know, in reality. And even so, but she was worried about offending people, right? Which I also, I mean, if you want to unite people, you're not going to unite them by starting by offending them. So it's the being provocative part that we want. We want to be provocative but how do you keep them engaged when they're like, oh, completely close their mind and say, oh, they're attacking me, but in a way that you're provoking, you're opening their mind a little bit.
Because I think we can't come from, but see, we can't come from that perspective. I think that the invitation is to not come from the perspective that I have to open anybody's mind, but to open my own mind. Because I don't,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
Because
No,
I don't have control.
that's going back to the screenplay and how that's so good. I forgot that, but yeah, after Brené Brown and talking about vulnerability, like go inside yourself first.
Because see, we just like we were talking about in class yesterday, like we all want the thing, like it could talk about the Bible. I mean, I don't know the Bible, like I don't know it, but I know that there's a thing in there that says, do unto others as you wish to be true. What is it?
Done to you, as you wish done to you. Yeah.
Yes, and the golden rule, right? Like I think we miss that mark all the time because we're always like, I want them to be this way. I want them to open their mind. I wish they would get it. And it's like, what about me getting it? What about me noticing where I'm offended? Instead of worrying about offending, why don't I notice about, whoa, I'm really offended right now because I disagree with you so much. Because the only person that I can manage is me. And if we all began to do that more instead of like, you need to change your mind, you need to do this. And then we expect them to give us respect when we're.
Yeah, I love that, where like religion is a very, very tough subject, right? Like people will believe, but so that the challenge would, going back to your time and where you, like if you're preparing an invoice or getting a credit card statement, I mean, credit card payment, or or wearing, that's not where your most creative self is. And that's, it's totally necessary. But I'm thinking, you know, that I want to commit to a certain amount of hours, but use it the most productively based on your talents. You know, like, yes, I understand, like, even the IT stuff, like I'm looking for an expert in IT, but what I would like to do is maybe have a like some type of agreement or plan. It's not about the agreement itself, it's just for us to understand where you can bring the most value to this partnership. And it would be just what you said, like, okay, we can approach controversial topics based on what I feel inside me or what you feel inside. I mean, you're probably, you've grown up in a country that was very diverse. I spoke about this in Argentina. There were no black people. There were no Asian people. I mean, very little. And so here in the United States, you're exposed to a lot more diversity, which if you start young, like your daughter, she's gonna have friends of all colors and all, and that can be a beautiful thing, if we don't try to separate, like some people are wanting to, like even segregation, it took many years to allow people of color joining white people, but now we some people want to go back to that. Anyway, I'm going like
really quick to circle back to the technical stuff. I haven't been using your hours for the technical stuff. I've just been using my hours, but it's still an issue because it's still time.
Yeah.
And so it takes away from my clients because I'm trying to concentrate because I am concentrating those hours. Even though some of it is technical backend, I hardly charge my clients for that. And that's why it's an issue though, because I got to field out, because that's been an issue for me for a long time is.
Well, yeah. So what I'm thinking, no, I meant like to get through these bottlenecks, right?
Yes.
Like, and these are ideas that we can add to our podcast. I mean, I like that you like it in terms of, and all this comes up because I'm going to your classes. So it's a way to, like, people say, oh, I'd love to do that. I'd love to do one of those role playing. And then you go, oh, you want to, here's Lea Marlene's classes, group classes and stuff, or private. So it's a way to me to promote my message and you to promote your skills and your services. But what I would like to do is firm up the days and times that you would be present as a coach, because that's being, Georgia reached out to me by email and saying, hey, I would like to know more about the Actors Circle. And so I tried to explain it to her that we would record these things. So everybody, and then we would select the actors, but we don't want to have total beginners we talked about. We also don't want, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, like if we have an actor that's, remember that lady you mentioned that it's all about her, all about her in the audition, and she was great but she wanted to dominate everything, right? So if we have somebody that starts to dominate, oh, I want this, I want that, and I went to this writer's circle and I was surprised that this person brought in a 120-page screenplay or script and took over 2.5 hours of the writer's circle. So it's not my circle. I will talk to the person who's managing that circle and say, was this arranged? Like, I ended up enjoying it because I was acting a little bit, but it just surprised me that I would have never thought I could you have different writers, everybody wants to present their part of the script and stuff. So that's an example of, if we have an actor, FTW is a producer, we take a time slot of your week and your coaching and stuff, but we do have some authority on who comes in, what do we act like,
Well, yeah, and I mean, I love the spontaneity of things. I think that's great, and I think we can still keep an aspect of that, but I think that we do need to have an outline. Like, even just watching this class that I'm in right now, it's so funny to me because, like, as a teacher, like, I'm like holding the space too. And these are all teachers coming on, but some of them have never done it before. They're like all coaches, like psychics, healers, coaches like that.
wow.
These guys giving the thing. Some of them, like, they'll say, guys, we have a 2-hour class, right? Or whatever it is. So when you come on for a question, like, as much as I love your big backstory, just get to the question, because we don't have time. They said that probably 20 times. Every person that would come on camera, oh my God, you guys, when I was 14, I was like, I had a bike accident. and you just watch the teachers and they're like, oh, that's tough. Okay, what's the question? Because I don't even have time to address all of what you just said, because it would take up our whole 2 hours. So sometimes people get like that. So we would have to make sure, because otherwise we could be on for an hour thing.
Yeah.
And one person tells their story of the weekend and it's over.
Yeah, and I'm somewhere in between, because there was times when we were growing really fast and time was, and I would manage meetings. Okay, I want the outline before we're going to talk. We're going to address these things first. We can say like 2 minutes to talk about life, and then boom, And I'm sure like Elon Musk, those guys, I've met CEOs of multi like billion-dollar companies. Not that I've met one. Okay, so I met one CEO in Argentina. He was a CEO of the biggest company in Argentina. This is an oil company, the biggest oil company, and and he was friends with my family and stuff. And he arranged for a meeting, and it was 20 minutes, and it was like, let's say from 3 to 3:20. It started at 3 o'clock sharp, and at 3:19 he's saying, okay, thanks, bye. And I wanted to talk about other stuff, and boom, and so he was in the next meeting, and that's how you manage. That's how really good people manage that stuff, where, and I think Elon Musk probably does 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or Mark Zuckerberg and those guys. They are
amazing. I mean, that's the one, the thing about the my friend who charges $950 an hour. He's like, people come ready to work. He's like, it is no bullshit. When you're spending that kind of money, it's like, we get right to it. He's like, we pack so much in an hour. It's so high value because there's none of that, because people are, and they don't just flake. So I think when people are either they're a business owner or they are spending that kind of money, and this is what I'd also love to impart for artists and actors, because they don't value. It's like, what did you do? Oh, I didn't have time to rehearse my script. What did you do today? Nothing. Some of these people I work with, they don't do anything.
Yeah, they're just dreaming, and
they're just waiting, and they're like a victim, and they have so much talent, and they're just sitting there going, I hate my job. And they'll sit on the phone and talk about that for 4 hours, or they'll want to call me. Thank God I draw the boundaries on that. I want to call you and tell you about, I'm like, why don't you memorize your script? Why don't you look into how you can create and produce your work? Why don't you take that time? So anyway, that could be something we could also impart when we're bringing people on. It's like, your time is valuable. So when you come on this podcast, we don't want it to be all rehearsed and canned, but we want your intention to be really clear as to why you're coming on, and you have to share with people, because you're promoting your business, right? You're promoting your business right now, because somebody might see you and go, I want whatever she does. I want her as an actor, or I want.
Yeah.
So I think that could be good.
Yeah, and now I can also go back to this thing about managing time. And if FTW, I mean, I have something to show for FTW. I have a website, I have a web marketing person, I'm starting to do these videos, I'm editing the videos. I have somebody in Argentina, somebody in the Philippines, somebody, so I think globally, I use technology and stuff, but now it's this part, like with you. So I'm thinking let's clarify your time, the budget, and then you use that time to promote. Like Georgia really wants, she wants to know more about it, but she was very interested in it. So let's say you have maybe Lindsay, or you have Natalia or Anastasia, just the people I know, but you might have other people, and it shouldn't compete. Like I also want to be sure, like you have the master class, which they love, and I also enjoy very much. And I don't know, like maybe some people can only go on Tuesday, some people can go on Thursday. So hopefully they're not competing, but we shouldn't have people that say, oh, I'm not going to go to the master class because I want to go to this actor circle.
Well, and also because I think we make it very different. It's like, this is not, the actor circle is not a workshop. This is not your place for question and answer. Save that for masterclass. And if we make that very clear and we always repeat, it's like, look, save all your questions, that sort of stuff. Or you know what I mean? So we make it very separate. And it's like, you're coming on here to whatever we want them to do that day. It's like, either you're going to role play something, you're going to use your gifts and talents because you're going to get out there, where we want to help you to get out there. So like, or you're going to share a story or dissect with us, but this is not workshop hour.
Okay, so good. And it's also like, when the workshop, when they're paying, they have right, they have a right to bring in what they want. Also, there's a difference that this is FTW, and there is certain parameters or certain guidelines of what we're doing, what we're looking for. But anyway, we need to go into this Zoom meeting.
Oh, okay, so we have to jump off and go into that
So
one?
we'll go jump off this one and we'll start the other one.
Okay,
Okay?
okay,
Thank
I'll see
you.
you over there. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.